When operating a 3D package, terminology is important. Understanding the definitions and lingo when communicating with other 3D artists or following tasks given by your lead in a work environment goes a long way when it comes to finding solutions to a problem. What we will be discussing today is terminology and 3D modeling basics in Blender. So, what is a polygon? Well, I guess the more common misconception when people speak about polygons, they would say, oh, well, this cube is a polygon, and that's not true. Polygon, let's look at the definition, is a plane figure with at least 3 straight sides and angles, and typically 5 or more. And when it comes to 3D modeling, it's just like a plane with 3 to more angles to create various shapes. So, whenever you have multiple polygons, those multiple polygons we will be able to create this cube or a sphere or a cylinder or whatever. So really, what is a polygon? So let me go ahead and create this plane, which is this is at most a polygon, or a quad rather. So with a quad, you would be able to see 3 distinct things. One being a vertex. If you have multiple vertex, that would be called a vertice. And with the vertices, you also have these lines that are connecting each other, and those lines are called edges. These are your edges. And with the edges also connected to each other, so with the vertices connected to each other, all this creates what you call a plane, and this is your plane. So with the vertices and the edges working together to create a plane, you get a polygon. And this polygon would then create various objects like this cube, or other objects like a sphere, or other objects, like I said before, a cylinder. So polygons are not so much as shapes, but more of just planes that help create shapes, help create complex shapes, help create, extravagant shapes. They are not a cube or a triangle, unless it's that cube is a plane looking at a 2D flat surface. Same thing with a 2D flat triangle, because it's 3 sides, or 5 sides or more being, shapes that will work with those sides. Now, but if it ends up being a 3D plane, ends up being a cube, well, then it's a cube. It's a shape. It's not really a polygon. It is a shape that is created by multiple polygons. That's it. That's basically that general definition. Now, if by chance you need more examples or need more clarification, you could check the internet, and there is probably one reference that I could show you that was made by KSA Mathematics, January 2nd, 2013, and his video would explain more in depth as far as what is a polygon and what is not a polygon. So whenever you get a chance, and if it still seems unclear, take a look at this video and take a look at other multiple videos, and you might get a better understanding. When you have a collection of faces, edges, and vertices that make up a series of polygons, you are then given the ability to create more complex figures. When referring to figures, the common identification for them is called models or assets. So, how does one manipulate polygons to create a 3D model? Here are a number of basic tools that I could show you using Blender. Let's start at the beginning. We have this cube here. Whenever you open up Blender, it's presented to you. So with this cube, let's go ahead and manipulate it. We'll manipulate a number of things of this cube. First thing you probably do is either use the hotkey 1 to go into edit mode, or you could use edit mode by pressing either modeling or going through this tab here to enter edit mode, like so. Now, while you're in edit mode, let's grab one of these faces. Press 3 for face and right click. Now, whenever you right click, this right click option will give you a series of options of what you could do in this situation. So when I press this face here, I right click and I have the option to subdivide, extrude the faces, or inset. We're going to extrude this face here. So press left click and then move your mouse over to extrude the face like so. Press left click again to confirm, and you got it. Let me show that one more time. We're going to select this face here, right click, inset face, extrude it up, left click to confirm. Now, the reason why I'm pressing the left click to confirm, because if you let's select this face here, and when you extrude it, and if you press right click, it'll revert, so it'll disappear, like so. So to confirm, left click the mouse button. So with this is one way of manipulating a cube. Now, what about other options while still in the face mode? Like inset, pretty simple. Right click, let's click inset, and insetting is pretty much grabbing the plane of this cube and then manipulate it like so. Now let's do that one more time. Now, since I pressed the control button, I did an inset, but now it's like also insetting or moving a semi-extrusion. Let's do it from this angle here. I'm going to press inset again, right click inset. Now it's a bit hard. Let's do it from this angle. Inset. There we go. Now I have more options or more leeway to shrink it down some. Now that it's shrink down, we're gonna go ahead and extrude it just so. And there's many other options while you're doing the face, but what if I were to mess with the edges? We go and select the edge here. Make sure you're in edge mode, or the edge category of edit mode, and we're gonna select this edge. Now when you right click and you selected the edge and you right click, I'll do that again, selecting this edge, right click, it gives you all these options of edging. It looks similar to faces, but then there's a couple more options of messing and manipulating this cube. And we're gonna go ahead and just extrude this edge just to show what is gonna happen, what's happening. And then this edge is moving around. I'm gonna extrude this edge over here. Do it one more time, like so. Now, the one thing you probably notice is it's kind of like it's extruding, but it's not extruding in line with all these other these other edges to give it that perfect line. And to remedy that, let's grab this edge here and extrude the edge here. But before we extrude, we're gonna hold down the control key. Control key is held, and then you see how it kind of is almost like snapping around. So now that it's snapped in place, you see how perfect that line is from here to here compared to here to down there. Holding down control helps that. I'm gonna do that one more time. Since it's already selected, right click, extrude edge. We're gonna hold down the control key, and there you go. And then works with all the axes like so. And you might have to change the camera angle a little bit to, to get that ideal spot. But once you get it, it works like a charm. And then you have your edges. Now, what about with vertices? Messing with a vertice? Let's do a little bit of experimenting. Let's grab these two. Let's grab this vertex here and do a little bit of beveling. Let's bevel this vertex. Now, when you press the bevel of the vertex, you see how it kind of like grabs that point and then spreads it out, almost like removing part of this sharp edge here. And you could do other things with the vertex, push and pull, or snapping, snapping vertices together. So let's grab these two vertices here. Snap the grid, snap the cursor, snap the active. Now, since I select snap the cursor, you see how it just, the cursors are all the way over there, and it gave that weird result. But it's doing what it's being told to do. I was told it to snap the cursor, and it did exactly that. So let's control Z that. Now, when I mentioned beveling earlier, let's go back into Edge, and I'll go show you beveling with an edge. So I right clicked and I selected the edge, and now I'm beveling it, and you see how it's kind of taking that sharp edge and almost smoothing it out. And I'm just going to do it again with these two edges here, and then do it one more time, and then just be mindful of how you're moving your mouse. It's almost kind of do it a little bit delicately, because if you do it too much, then you get this result. So it's kind of like just being mindful, and you don't have to really rush it. But see how you have this nice little curvature here versus these sharp angles. That's one of the benefits of doing the beveling. Now, one other terminology is in 3D modeling they call topology. Topology is basically how clean your model looks. Is it uniformed? Is it following best practices and standards? And with topology comes cleaning. Cleaning your model. Now this here, say here, it's all these other areas are relatively tidy, not a whole lot of lines going on, but this here is kind of looking a little messy. We're gonna go ahead and clean this up a bit, make it less messy. When tackling topology or cleaning up your faces, there are a number of ways of handling this, and what I'm going to show you is just one method, but at the same time I just want to showcase more tools that are available when using Blender. So what we are going to do here is we're just going to go ahead and get rid of these faces here, and we're going to do face select. Let me select this open. Alright, there we go. We're going to select these faces here and right click, delete faces. And now the next thing we're going to do is edge select this edge here. Now when I do this, sometimes there's a bug that I ran into with Blender, that whenever you do bridge edge loops, you see that this appears and it's supposed to have a face on top of that, but for some reason it doesn't want to do that. And if you run into this issue, no worries, just Control Z and try again, and now the face is there. So whenever you run into that type of bug, just Control Z and then do the same move, and the face will appear. So now that we have this face, I'm going to do the same thing again here. Hold down Shift, select the two edges, and then bridge edge loop, and I'm just going to keep doing that over here and over here. And the reason why I'm Well, the reason why bridge edge loops works here because it is connecting two edges, and within the two edges, they have two vertices respectively, thus having four vertices in total, and it's creating a quad. So whenever doing bridge loops, it's always good to have four vertices and two edges available. You can't do like a triangulated quad, even though triangle topology exists. Well, triangle faces exist. Excuse me, but when you're doing bridge edge loops, I'm going to show you what happens when you're trying to kind of triangulate. Well, this will work here, but what we're gonna do next, so I can demonstrate what happens when you try to do two edges that are connected to each other. We're gonna go into vertices select these two vertices here, and then right click, merge vertices. We tried cursor. We know what happened last time. We're gonna do at the center. Merge the two vertices at the center like so, and it goes right into the middle of the two vertices selected, thus creating one vertex. Now we got kind of like have this triangle type hole that we want to close up, and going back into edge select, see these two edges connected to each other. What do you think will happen when I right click and try to do bridge edge loops? It gives me an error saying select at least two edge loops. So, you know, 1, 2, 3, two vertices, two edge loops. So that's not enough. So let's go ahead and Control Z back a little bit. Going back into edge loops. I'm gonna grab this edge and this edge here, bridge edge loops. And there we go. This hole is filled up. But ultimately, you know, it doesn't look all that clean. We want to at least make this a little bit more tidy. So let's tidy this up a bit. We're gonna go ahead and select the vertex select, grab these vertices here, merge them together at the center. So they're now all one. Not quite perfectly aligned with the other vertex, but that's fine. This is just a demonstration. So now that's selected, let's go ahead and grab all these edges here. Grab this one, that one, and eeny, meeny, miny, mo. No, we'll keep this one. That one here and that one there. And then right click, dissolve edges. And now that looks a whole lot cleaner. That looks a lot cleaner, doesn't it? Almost like it's insetted. So that's cool. That's cool. So now one other tool that's available while, you know, right clicking, selecting edges and vertices and planes, you know, back and forth while creating your model is something called subdivision. And subdividing is kind of like taking an edge and then separating them, or taking a plane and separating the two. So just to demonstrate, I grab these two edges here, and again, making sure I'm on edge select. When I do this, I'm going to right click and then subdivide, and see, it made a subdivision. So while it's still selected, I'm going to subdivide again, and you could keep doing this over and over again until, you know, you get the desired look or whatever you want. But if you don't want that to happen, you know, all you can do is, you know, kind of deselect that and select the other side and subdivide here. And if you want to do it sideways, do it like that. So, you know, plenty of options on that end. So you can even go ahead and remember that extrusion method. Extrude that and extrude this over here. So lots of things you could do with that. Now that you saw me manipulate this cube using the right click method, what I'm going to show you now is manipulate the cube in a similar fashion, but I'm going to be using tools that will be on this left side here. And to do this, well, let's just go ahead and create another cube or start a new file, and then we're going to go into edit mode, and then you have a new set of tools that appear before you. So now that we're in edit mode, let's go ahead and select the plane and try to extrude this face here. Now this face is, you know, is here, and you got this little yellow bobble. Let's grab this bobble and then see how it's be able to rise up and rise down. It gives you that option, and every time you select on it, hold down the left mouse button, it gives you that option to move it. Now, what if I, instead of grabbing this yellow bobble, I grab the outside within this white circle? Now, if I do that, it gives me the extrusion, but I'm able to move it around freely, and I will have to hold down Control to move it upward in a fixed area. Let's do that again, but just more freely, just to show you the difference. See the difference here versus if I grab this bobble here and move it up. So that's one way of extruding. And the nice thing about it is when you hold down left click on the button here with this arrow here, it gives you similar, or actually it gives you different options of extruding. So after this video, go ahead and play around with them, see what they do. But moving along, insetting is similar. Grabbing the yellow bobble here and moving it up and down to whatever size that you want. Beveling, well, we could grab these 4 parts of the face here and bevel them, and look at that, I got a nice little bevel. Or I could bevel it here, and then it's giving me more options to bevel. Or I could bevel this section here and just do the same thing, giving me a semi curvature look. Loop cut, earlier when I showed subdividing, loop cut is you're able to subdivide the whole model. So I could grab this side and I could just keep going with it. I just keep going over and over and over and over and over, and it gives you that fixed point. Loop cut has its own set of additional options, like offset loop cut, where you can like grab something that's offset within the area. See that? Pretty nifty. And then you have your knife, which you're able to cut new topology manually of areas that you want to make a subdivision. So now that I kind of made that cut here, let's say that I want to now grab, well, let's get out of this knife section, but now I want to go ahead and grab this face area that I cut, and then I'm going to go ahead and extrude it. Pretty cool, right? Or just grab here and just extrude that, and then I don't know, maybe I just want to cut a little bit more. Let's say we'll cut from here to here, right? And now I want to go ahead and extrude that only. I'll just extrude it to the side. Just give it some, it's crooked, but I guess that's a little too extreme. So we'll go ahead and extrude it like that. Now I got like this little triangle that's popping out. And of course you have many more tools that you can work with, but I'll stop it right here and I'll just pretty much say this. Blender has a lot of tools to work with, and every artist does not work the same way. They have their own particular way of creating their own workflow to complete projects or to meet deadlines. And everyone that when they venture into 3D modeling, they might not have the exact same workflow as the next person. They may have something that's similar philosophies or similar techniques, but as far as hitting hotkeys to clicking things manually, and everyone's different, and and that's fine. Nothing to feel bad about. The main thing is that if your particular custom workflow is able to, 1, meet deadlines, 2, have a great understanding of quality, and 3, makes the customer happy, then that's what counts. So mess around these tools, explore, tinker, because in the next video we're gonna go ahead and actually tackle, an actual model. What we're gonna model, I am gonna keep that as a secret, but in the next video, if you take a look at it, I think you will enjoy it. So until then, everybody take care and have a good rest of the evening. Bye bye.